Hello traders. Equities are kind of just doing nothing, but I'm going to show you the bigger time frame here on silver. If we go to like a 4 hour, silver went up and made an all-time high, and then we made a lower high and pulled back, and we just took out the bottom of this range right here, and we're putting up a potential reversal pattern. I would like to see it reverse and go back up at least maybe to here, because silver does some work now. It hit like $5 a nickel, so this is a lot of movement already. So what I'm looking for, I'm watching the equities over here because we just now made a higher low. But equities have been kind of crappy this week. So what I would want to see silver do here is go up, leave this high, and then come back down and make a higher low. And then pull away from that with the fair value gap. That's one thing I've been really messing up on. Is on my, it's like I forget how to trade. I get a payout and then I forget how to trade. So the market will move in legs, kind of like this. I'm going to change that to a different color that we can see a little better. Let's try, we'll just do white. Is that easy on the eyes? So the market will move like this, and then it'll go up. Should. Sometimes it just goes straight down. And then it'll go back down here. Okay, and then when it does it reversal pattern, it's a little different situation. It goes up a little ways, leaves this high, and when we get here, we're usually taking out some sort of a significant level, whether it be a 4 hour low or some sort of a significant level. And then on this next one, this is the important one right here, we come back down and we make a higher low. And then there's a very high probability that we take out at least this high. At least that high. Usually it'll be pretty quick like that too. So typically what I look for in here somewhere would be a breaker, but that return to the breaker is the part I've been missing. So if silver does this, we've had our push down, we had our push back up right there. Now we've gone down, we've taken out that significant level, the bottom of that 4 hour range. And so now we're working our way back up. So we need to leave this alone. Don't take it out. If we take it out, more downside is possible. So we need to leave it and we need to pull back. Our breaker is right here. No. This is the lowest point, so our breaker is right here. But with the equities, they've been running off of 15-second breakers, 30-second breakers, sometimes 1 minute breakers. So this pattern is what we need to be looking for. The breaker is definitely in play, but it doesn't has to touch that breaker to the tick. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it's a 15-second breaker, sometimes it's a 30-second breaker that it's working off of. Sometimes it's the fair value gap above the breaker that it's working off of. So there's a little ambiguity there that I'm trying to get rid of and maybe focus more just on this pattern right here. We can move that out a little ways. It doesn't have to go straight up. But it definitely needs to take out this high right here. Yeah. So that high right there would be our buy side. So that's the pattern we're looking for right here. Leave it, come back, anywhere down here is fine. if we went to a 15-second chart here, our breaker's almost in the exact same spot. So this push down, you can tell, is definitely where the market wanted to go. It's a decisive push down. I don't want to go any further. Let's trade up a while. So regardless of whether or not we come off of this 1 minute breaker or 5 minute breaker, we may come off of this point right here. The overall pattern we're looking for is that. So hopefully we get it. Right now we've had a stopping point on the 15-second chart. Let's go back to the 1 minute. On the equities, NQ is doing this. I've been noticing one day it'll be NQ giving the good signals, the next day it'll be ES giving the good signals. So I've been watching both of them. But I've also been watching silver because I did it in that competition that one day, and I made $6,000 in one day trading micro silver. So this is weird. It's not showing my screen. Why is that? Window capture, Google Chrome. Huh. There we go. Maybe. Uh-oh. Sorry, guys. I was pitch black and didn't know it. Okay, so let's start over. This is the pattern I'm looking for with silver right here. I want it to leave that high. So we've come down. I want it to go up and leave that high and then come back down and make a higher low and then go take that high. And that's what I will get in on if we can leave that high. So equities, ES came down, took out pre-market low, and then just continued down. It's still continuing down. Where NQ took it, that big push down, and then consolidated for a good while. From a fair value gap perspective, that 5 minute fair value gap right there would be a good sell point, but we're still within the first 30 minutes at that point. We need to go to regular trading hours only over here. Yeah. So we haven't made it back to the pre-market high, but we did take pre-market low. We have some relative equal lows down here on the 4 hour. And we actually, if you look at a 4 hour chart, are in a 4 hour range. We took the high of it yesterday. This was the previous high. Took a little bit higher this morning. And then we have these right here. Even all the way down to here possibly. But this from right here to those highs was the previous 4 hour range. This little set of candles right here. And we've been leaving these lows. So I would think we would attack them today. But I don't like to get involved in the push down. I want to be in the push back up. Because anything can happen on the way down. Once we find the high, we know we're there. It's going to look like something like this. Or once we find the low, it's going to look something like that. Push down and a violent push back up. So now in silver, we have left this high and we're coming back down. This is a 3 minute fair value gap right here. That's kind of nice. And there's another one right there. I don't know why I'm on a 3 minute chart. I just put it on there. So I don't know why there even has a window capture on there if I can't even, I don't know how it even got clicked. Sometimes this program just pulls stuff up without me even knowing it's pulling it up. So I like what silver's doing right here. It's pushing down, and hopefully it'll come into one of these. It can come all the way down to here. I'm not really worried about that. I would like to see it push down into here and then fail to go any lower. This could be considered the higher low, but I would like to see it push a little further down. One thing you'll notice, all of this stuff seems to move the same way. That's why it seems to be driven by a computer. When this one pushes down, that one pushes down. And this is equities, this is silver. Why would they both go at the same time? Nearly all of them have the same candle pattern. If you watch, there are some that move opposite of this, but they have the same candle pattern. One argument I've heard is they all are working off of the dollar index, but that doesn't always hold true either. So that might be our push down there. And now we're going to run this liquidity. If it is, I missed my op. So we did come down to the breaker and we did respect it. And so over here on its 1 minute, things are a little bit sluggish here. I click the 1 minute chart and it takes a long time to update it. It's almost like we're disconnected. Oh, there it went. Thank you. Okay, so this one pushed down and also this one pushed down. Appeared to have taken out some liquidity it liked, so it took out these. Those aren't 4-hour lows, but they're middle of the afternoon type lows. And then now we're pushing up. So the same scenario that I drew out up here, where we need to see it come down, go, one of these high points, and then come down and make a lower high. We need to see that configuration and then run for buy side. And so right now we're just having a run back up. We could just take this liquidity and continue down. In silver, this could be our higher low. It could be. It may not come back down because we pulled away with a fair value gap once we push down here. But we're right there at the top of that range. If we're going to try to get in on silver, it would be right here. Let's try one. But this thing is a beast, guys. It's a freaking beast. So I'm going to try to get in right there for a push to these highs, possibly that high. We'll try to get to this one. See how quickly I'm up $70? This is on one freaking micro. I may just want to take this right here. But if we're looking at that configuration, we would need NQ to go up into this area, leave it alone, and then pull back and make a higher low. So this one's working out really nicely. And with silver, we actually have a lot of room to run. We opened with a big gap down. Now we've taken this low on the higher time frame perspective. If this is just a range, we could go to the top of the range. We filled this gap, took out that low. This could grow some legs. NQ just took out that high, so pulling back here is a possibility. Because it is such a rapid mover, I'm going to take my risk off. And we did just take the high of that range, so pullback is possible too. I want to see it push through that and at least go to this high right here. This fair value gap right here is the reason I got into it. We took that, we pushed down, and we put a fair value gap to the upside, and I may end up getting stopped out here. It may range here a while. Yeah, I got stopped. And that's, silver does that. It really does take a lot of movement. I mean, this at $5, a freaking nickel. I mean, this is a lot of money. That was a micro, and I'm, 30 cents away from my entry at $300. So we made relative equals, or did we take it? Let's see here. The high is 46.5 here. The high of this one is 46.5. So we made relative equal highs there. I would really like to see it push down into this area and fail to go any lower. That's what I would really like to see. This didn't seem like a big enough push to me. So NQ came down. Now we've worked into this fair value gap, and we are pushing higher. That's not much of a higher low. Not much of one at all. We could just be taking out the top of this range and come right back down. So I want to see it try to push hard this way and stop and then go back up. And that's what I want to see in silver too. I want to see more of a push down into this area and just fail to go any lower than that, and then we'll have something. But this may be all the push down it wants. I mean, it respected this fair value gap again. Now we're taking out the top of that range. This is such a gnarly beast. I mean, you can blow up your account in a hurry trading this sucker. So now we've made it to 50. This is looking pretty aggressive. Man, if I would have left my stop down here, I would still be in this trade and getting almost close to 300 bucks. Silver's just scary to me. I haven't traded it very much. I haven't gone through and looked at all of its PD arrays to see if it behaves the same way as NASDAQ. And so getting your butt handed to you is a very distinct possibility. And we are coming off of the all-time highs as well. So we've had two fair value gaps to the upside there. One here, one there. If this one stays open, I might try to get in on it again. try. Do the halfway point. That might have already been it. Yeah, that was it. NQ's pushing. If NQ's running for this high or settlement, this would be a spot where it would like to pull back. Or maybe we'll get a pullback here. I'm going to bring it down just a little. Isn't that strange how they kind of run in unison even though they're completely different products? I think trading a micro silver is kind of like trading a mini on the ES. Speaking of ES, I want to see what it's doing. So it's looks like it's reaching for that pre-market high as well. If it's running for this, it's pretty much settlements right here. So coming back down to settlements a possibility. From a breaker perspective, this is its breaker. We just had a fair value gap above it. We need to come back down to that at least. We kind of did one little bump to it. I'm about to get filled with silver. Let's see if I want it to come lower. I'm not going to get in there. I'm not going to get in there because this one needs to come down to here at least. In both cases, we left these. We took out that low over here. And silver's the only one I really like the level it took. I want silver to come to here and fail to go any lower. That's what I want. And I want NQ and ES maybe to come down and take out these lows and fail to go any lower. Or at least down to here. I'm going to take that off for now. But this is looking pretty good. We have a push up. We've left liquidity. We need a push back down, a failure to go any lower, and then we'll be in business. This right here is what we're looking for. If it takes that high first, then we're going to have to start looking for a reversal to the downside on the equities. I don't think this is regular trading hours. I don't think that low leaving these two, well, this one did take that one, so that would be a liquidity spot for sure. And you can see when it hit it, leaving this one because it already swept that liquidity on a higher time frame, like let's say 30-minute. we took that one right there, and then we pop back up. So now all we need is a push back down, and we'd be good to go. See how silver's doing. So it would have filled me there with these. It painted this wall. That fair value gap is pretty much closed in now. We do this entire run. It's right in the middle of it. This is where I've been screwing up, is I'm thinking, okay, we've validated the breaker, we pulled away the fair value gap, and I'm getting in right here only to see it come down and make a higher low, and then I get stopped out. So I'm really going to be demanding that it tries to push lower and fails here, and I just won't even take a trade if it doesn't. I was hoping I could group all those together and move them all at once, but can't. Silver, micro, one side, NQ, other side. Waiting for this push right here. There we go. Okay, so we've come down, we pushed up. We came down, found a bottom, pushed up, left that high so far. Now we're coming back down. We want to see a higher low here. Somewhere in this area would be nice. This little fair value gap right here would be perfecto right here. If it would come down there and reject, we could aim for that high up there, and we should be able to get some money out of this deal. And you can see the equities are behaving in the same manner, so you can trade equities. I'm going to trade, I've been, I don't know, maybe I'm just being silly with that, but for some reason, the equities, I feel like silver is a beast. I mean, just this little bit of movement, that, you know, that's $300 over here with one micro NQ. Now, there's two ways to view this. Okay, so we opened with a gap down, we filled it. Pre-market high is still up here. We could view this as a lower high. Okay, instead of this one coming down as a higher low, we could view this as a lower high, and then we rip all the way down here to these 4-hour levels. We don't have to continue up and take that liquidity here. We could leave it. So ideally, it seems like we took this low, it filled the gap on silver. Now we've come and we've taken this low. I like that. I like that we made a lower low here. We just need to stay above these. And I would like to see it come this far. I really want to see it make a hard push and fail. But you could also view it as that's our opportunity to get short, because we've tried to push higher and failed, and it's our opportunity to get short. So what would be our determining factor there? Well, for me, it's that 4-hour low, the afternoon low. And here we've taken one. We took out yesterday's afternoon low, which was a crappy low. But we also have all these down here on the 4-hour chart. ES has a much cleaner 4-hour range than NQ does. And ES went up in pre-market and it filled a gap. So we could offer down to here. We did take that one. We are in December, which is typically bullish. 80% of the time it's a bullish market. So we came and we took this low, still in the higher low category, but we pulled away with a fair value gap. I think this was our push. I think we're good to go. Let's see what this one did on its, let's say a 5-minute. Did it sweep the low? It did. Not quite. It didn't. So we got lower. We got a little bit lower to go. So on the 5-minute, this is our big candle that we need to see respected. You can put a Fibonacci on it. It would be our bullish order block. And we want to see candle body closing above this line right here. The wicks could come all the way down here, but we just don't want to see them take that low if we're going to remain in a bullish state. What time of day is it? 9:50. All right, so that's Texas time. New York time, it would be the 10:50 macro. If we're going to see something happen, this will be it. Did we take it yet? No, we made relative equals. Now we're taking that 5-minute, pushing into the 25% of that bullish order block. I'd really like to see it get down to here, but it doesn't have to. may have gotten in early on this, but when it comes down and takes a low and pulls away with a fair value gap, that's what I look for. That's my entry point right there. But now we're coloring it right back in. So I may have gotten in early. We'll just have to see. I think it might push down a little further. Man, ES is really doing some moving over here. No fair value gap to the upside over here. So silver could be just ranging here, but it pulled away. Volume imbalance to the downside, volume imbalance to the upside, creating another fair value gap here on top of that one. This could be it. If it is, we should see the equities going up here with it. Wake into that volume imbalance and then go higher. This is the macro. It's 10 o'clock almost. We should be going somewhere if we're going to. We're either going to get stopped out. We don't need to be any lower than that. Or it's about to run for the hills. Now, I like the way the equity's pushing. You know, can we get above all that? Can we get back to settlement? I think if this was simply a lower high, that this push down would have been much more aggressive and we would have taken out that low. Really nice fair value gap to the upside here on silver. Equities are not following suit. Still looking for that higher low here. So far we're just pushing down. We can get a higher low and a push to this high. So we went up, we left the high, now we need our higher low. That configuration I drew right here, that's what we're looking for. Leave the high, come back, higher low, and then take that high. So we need a higher low over here, and we need to pull away with the fair value gap, wherever that we end up finding that low. I'm really liking this silver trade right now. The silver ran all the way to all-time highs yesterday. So $50 is a psych level for silver. The quarters, 50, 75, round number. So 50 is where it went before and pulled back. So I want to see it push through those 50s and at least take that high, at the very least. I'd really like to see the equities go ahead and find a higher low and go up, but it also could be aiming for these relative equal lows on the 4 hour. That's twice I've been up $100 on silver. Maybe I should just take my money and run, because this is looking awfully bearish, and it'll take silver with it. Awfully bearish. Will we take the low? Opened with a gap up, filled it, attempted to push higher, failed. Those are a target for later. If you traded the equities yesterday, you saw some crazy movement, and that's why I absolutely refuse to get involved until I see exactly what I want to see. Silver is kind of doing what the equities did yesterday. You get a good signal to the upside and then it comes back down. But it did just come back and touch the breaker. Took out these lows. Still left this high. NQ's making a new low. See, NQ's 4 hour looks ugly in comparison to ES. See how ugly that looks? And if we look at MES, much cleaner lines. So we could be aiming for here. We do have a gap. Have those lows. We filled this gap up here. We could be or we could just be going to the halfway point of this day and straight back up. Man, I really like those highs in silver. High or low. I'm going to try it one more time. I'm going to try to buy one silver at that wick test. Right there. Got filled. ES pushed down and now it's pushing back up. Let's look at its 1 minute. Okay, so it left, I think it made a higher low. ES made a lower low. NQ, this made a higher low. Pull away with a fair value gap? No, we didn't. We just wicked into that one. So more downside is definitely possible. I just want silver to come up here and take this high. It can go anywhere it wants to after that. Or at least this high. I mean, that high would be 150. And this high would be 230. One thing about silver and gold, when it decides to leave town, it leaves freaking town. It can make this move in just a couple of minutes. And it'll do this consolidating thing for a while, and then when it decides to go, it just rips. All right, there's another $100 bill on silver. Will I get to keep it this time? That's 3 $100 bills we've seen on silver so far this morning. Maybe I should just take my $100 bills and run. I like the way ES is doing here. I think it could go take those highs. This is first prez up here. It's a high or low. We're starting to get a fair value gap. I haven't finished it yet, so gotta wait for a couple more candles. Silver could just be ranging, but we came down and we took out this low. We tried to push lower, we took out this low, we left this one. So that's why I'm thinking, here's our target. We could go higher, so I'm just going to trail. We have a volume imbalance there. Fair value gap is starting to be created. Uh-oh. Just took out that 50 level again. I'm going to leave this run a while. I'm going to see if it'll push higher. It still didn't take this high. 53 half, and this one is 53 half, dead equal. Maybe I should add one. That sounded like a news alert. Space stocks rallied Thursday as AST Space Mobile jumping over 14%. Another $100 bill on silver came and went. bullish order block on the equities. Now we got $400 on the risk. I may be dead wrong here, but I think these need to fall. I don't know if I'm even going to wait for a push higher. I may just take it right there. I mean, theoretically, we should take that one. We certainly shouldn't come back down. So I'm going to take it off. Take off the risk. Equities are pushing higher. That's good. I was listening to Rips the other day, and somebody had asked him, how long does it take you to pass a combine? And he said, you know, I don't really know. I don't really count. I just trade my setup, and whether it's 5 days, 10 days, 2 days, doesn't matter. I just trade my setup. I'm not worried about how much P&L I need to pass or any of that. And he's a really good trader. Been doing it a long time. He didn't start out that way. You know, he started out crappy like everybody else, but now he's a $1 million trader. And so I need to worry less about the dollar amount and more about, you know, the likelihood these highs, I would say, are definitely going. This one could still reject. We did make a higher low in ES, and we are pushing away, but we don't have any fair value gap. I think these highs could be a target right here, and this one here as well. But NQ ripped much lower and made a lower low. So we still could rip lower. I want this high, but maybe I should take one off right here. See, I was up $200 right there, and now I'm probably going to get stopped out with $20. That's the way silver is sometimes. It just hangs out. I'm trade copying 2 of the straight to funded, no fee exit combines right now. I've been trading very badly, and so I don't want to trade my XFAs right now until I get back on track. And I think that's what I've been doing, is I'm getting involved on this first push up and not waiting for the higher low to form. And so I'm getting stopped out on this move down. I probably have said that 150 times. If you watched the video I made yesterday, I explained that in great detail. It is essential that we take a higher time frame level and that we pull away with a fair value gap, whether there is a breaker or not, visible, because sometimes it'll be visible on a smaller time frame. On this particular one, these candle bodies violated that breaker. But what's important is we made higher lows, and now we should at least take that level. So that's that. Now we can move it to here, and we'll lock in $40 on this trade, and maybe we push a little higher. There's a volume imbalance right there that we could also trade to if we continue higher. I mean, I don't have any risk on this one really, $100. But let's just see. And then over here on the equities, we did get a fair value gap to the upside forming, but we're just right here at the top of this range. Silver could absolutely take back this entire move. It could go to 58. That's a nice round number. It could go fill this gap. That's a really nice gap. We'll know what its intentions are once it takes this high right here. It's either going to take them and keep running, or it's going to take it and fall back down. The equities did put up a small fair value gap here, but it's still within this range. I would like to see one above it. S&P 500. It's looking real nice for that, the S&P. At least to get back to settlement. Silver trades a little different. The market opens at 8 and it closes down at noon. It keeps the old floor hours. Gold does as well. So we're nearing the close of the silver market, which will be right here at noon. It does continue to move after that close, but most of its movement will occur between 8 and noon. Come on, get that high. Let's see what happens next. From a 30-minute, we just took that one. This looks pretty dadgum bullish. Let's say we just went to the middle of the range. That's our opening range candle. Middle of the range right here, 57.68. 15-minute right there, that high. That might be all we want. So yes, we put up a fair value gap here, made a higher low, wicked into it, pushing higher. That might be a good trade. I just don't want to put any more risk on right now. Silver's about to take that high right there. There we go. Let's get over to a smaller time frame here. Let's see what happens when it takes it. We have two fair value gaps pushing up. So I'm going to put this one at the base of that guy. It is after 11 and we have not reversed necessarily. So we may not. We may continue down on the equities. We may just take that high and then start offering lower. But I'm going to try a small one here if it'll come back to that fair value gap. But the problem is, if it does that, we're going to stop me out over here on silver. Hopefully this, if it does pull back, this right here is a volume imbalance, and I hope that's all it wants, and it'll stay above this. That would be a fair value gap to the upside right there. And that's including the volume imbalance, that's it. And so my stop is below the candle that created it right there. You see that $5, I was right here at 47. So a half a cent is $5 on silver for a half a cent. What if we can make it all the way to 58? We filled the gap pre-market, but we did not fill it in regular trading hours. So there is a little bit of a gap left up here. That low we took out right here was at noon yesterday. We left these. That was the AM session from yesterday. I've been noticing it's referring to the afternoon session when it does its little reversals. It'll leave the lows from the AM session and then just the previous New York session, which would be the PM session. Been noticing that a lot. That's just a snapshot in time. It's not going to do that all the time, but that's what it's been doing this week. ES is taking this high. Not an aggressive move up by any means. This could just be another attempt to push higher that fails. But right now I'm viewing this as an attempt to push lower that failed. Let's see what NQ is looking like. I think NQ is putting up bad signals. It made a lower low, but still pulled away. So it's going to need to push back down into one of these fair value gaps and then reject higher. Here comes silver following right along with it. And you see it left that high. Of course, these highs are relative equal. Man, it almost got me. There, yeah. It's going to get me out. Maybe it'll respect it. Stops in a good location. I'm going to move it that one tick lower that I had it at 80. Just in case it wants to take that out. I should actually have it underneath this one. But I'm going to lock in as much profit as I can. I like the way that wick stopped there. Let's see if it continues to stop there. NQ, no fair value gap really to speak of. Small volume imbalance right here. We took that wick. Wonder if we got filled on ES. Yeah, we did. This one's going. I'm going to move it one more tick now. Give it that much more room to run. Because maybe it takes this by a tick and goes right back up. Yeah, it didn't. Took that one. Still left the highs. Still left the highs. The original fair value gap when we left the breaker is actually right here. I'm wondering how price related to it. The candle bodies are starting to push through this thing. And this little work up into this fair value gap here. A little dicey, a little dicey. No other fair value gaps to work off of in a 1 minute chart. But we do have higher low, higher low, higher low. Liquidity's been left above. So unless we're just having directional day to the downside, this should work out. We're already below that fair value gap now, and that was my point of contention. So I'm just going to take this off. Maybe I can get back above it. Maybe it'll try to invert it right there. All right, there we go. I'm out. Now I want to see more evidence that we're going higher. These are too close to being relative equals. I like the fact that this one is longer than that one. So we could continue to push higher off of this thing. But we just violated that fair value gap. So I'm not real convinced. I do feel like silver is going to that high. But London just closed just now. So that was basically London MOC that we were watching. I'm going to try to get back in half of this candle right here for a move up. I'll buy 4. I should just do silver. It's got that very clear line up there. It's just a beast. Focus on the process. Okay, so now we have a volume imbalance. It could be a draw. So I'm going to put my entry there. That actually, with the volume imbalance, created a fair value gap. I'm just going to go for low-hanging fruit right here, right there. And I may end up killing this one too. I don't like that push down right there at all. ES has a affinity to 50. So going back to 50, pushing up. Its next stop is actually 80, which would be up here at the gap fill. If we get up there, that would be pretty nice. But right now, it's not looking good. These just look pretty juicy. Gonna have to go. Do not make a new low there. If it makes a new low there, I gotta kill it. Could be taking that wick and then continue down. We need to see a push here. All right, silver's pushing. Let's go take those highs. At the very least, we should take these highs, even if we have more downside coming. So I'm just gonna try to grab that $100 bill and see if we can get it. This is a rejection wick. I don't like it. I don't like that rejection wick. That's our line in the sand. Settlement possibility. We should be going here. We shouldn't be hanging out. I think it's just one of those slow grinds or what. Maybe take a couple off here. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. Lower high, lower high. I don't like it. It's probably gonna go, but I don't like it. It feels wrong. I think I made my money already and we're good. See how much I ended up making. $282. If I could do that every single day on 5 XFAs, trade copying, over $20,000 a month. Why do I need any more? The answer is I don't, and I'm stopping. So I'm only just now back up to 50,000 because I've been doing that buying here and then getting smoked on a lower high. Like over here on the equities, that's a much lower high or higher low. It is a higher low, and in NQ it pushed and made a lower low. But I'm getting in when we validate the breaker and not waiting for that. So at this point, I don't know that I'll take another trade. I think this is going to eventually take that high, but the market has never cared about one iota of what I think, so I can't trade it as though it's actually going to happen. I got my 282. We'll take it. I took, I think, 4 trades, all winners. Can't complain about that. See y'all next time. Thanks for watching.